Do you think homosexuals should be able to marry, and why?
Do you want a devil's advocate?
Yes.
What?
Be difficult.
Okay. Devil's advocate.
All right, Kenny, I'm picking on you first.
It's okay.
You want me to explain why?
Yeah.
I'm staying here because I haven't read that much information on it. I'm not too familiar. Personally, I believe anyone should be able to do whatever they want as long as it doesn't affect somebody next door to you.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to get married, go for it. The person who doesn't want them to get married, I really don't care if that's their opinion or if their opinion is to get married.
Gotcha. Anyone from this side? Go ahead.
I agree because it affects me personally. My goddaughter, she got married a few years ago to her wife. They went to Canada because it wasn't legal here in the United States. She's been very happy. I've talked to her. I've talked to her wife. I mean, they're very happy. And this thing about marriage is for procreation, like you said, what about those that are married and they get divorced? What happens to the kids then? What about those that are married and they go outside of marriage? You're not procreating with that person and you're not keeping true to this person that you're with. So what about those couples that cannot have children, like somebody just mentioned? So, I mean, everybody should be able to live with, marry, love whom they choose, and it's not my decision. It doesn't affect me in either way. However, I feel passionate about it because she was able to find somebody that she's happy with, and I'm happy for her, and all of those that have found somebody that they're happy with.
I'm glad she was able to do that. Call out to the devil. Devil's advocate.
Yeah.
We stood over here because we wanted to.
Because everybody went over there.
So we
Yeah.
wanted to be the devil's advocate.
Peter knows how I feel about
Yes.
marriage. Yo, dog, you can't just go around changing definitions of stuff. That's weird. What about the Bible, man? The Bible, this country was based on Christian premises, yo.
You want to follow up on that?
I can't possibly.
I can't even think of it.
All right, next question. We might say the same. We might move. Whatever you want to do.
Okay. We're getting swayed.
Yeah, look at that great presentation that Peter gave. I now feel neutrally about this issue.
Why though?
Within marriage or without marriage?
Oh, yeah.
That's why we're neutral.
Yeah, that's our
I
neutral.
don't understand the question now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I intended it to be with marriage.
Okay.
Anyone?
Then I'm neutral because homosexuals can't get married in some states. That's why I'm neutral then.
All right. Bueller? Anyone? Bueller? I hope all of us have seen that movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adoption.
Yes, they should. I have a friend who, and believe me, I'm old, so I have a friend from high school who was gay, and she and her partner adopted 3 children and raised them.
I'm glad.
Me
Makes
too.
me happy. What's up? Yeah.
Yeah. There are so many children who don't have families that I feel like if 2 people, whether they're homosexual or heterosexual, are, fit, good, morally sound people, and you're denying them the right to take a child out of that system just because they're gay, then maybe you need to rethink your morals, because, yeah, that's not right. There are lots of children who don't have morals.
Agreed.
Peter, I'll play the devil's
All right.
advocate for you on this one. Please understand, I'm playing the devil's advocate also. Gay couples adopting children are just a way for them to create more gay people. They're doing it. But that's one of the arguments that's an argument I get thrown in my face all the time.
Reverend Brown.
Somebody who I grew up with, who was a very dear friend, and I've heard that argument, so I have to say it. She was not adopted, but she was raised by her mother and auntie. And I would assume auntie was auntie, and never even batted an eyelid. She grew up, she got married, she's got 3 kids, very happy, didn't make her, anything other than a loving human being. And later on, auntie died, and then I was like,
You finally realized.
but it didn't ever affect us, our relationship, or...
I up to have a friend who at one time was at Eastern Shore Chapel and has 2 boys who are married, and he's a grandfather. So,
Oh, yeah.
Sharon?
Well, I have 2 points. One, being heterosexual doesn't guarantee that you're a good parent. And 2, I am heterosexual, but I have a gay child. So what broke there? If you use that logic, that if 2 gays are going to produce a gay child, I did something wrong, I guess.
No.
No, that's not true.
This is Wade.
So, I'm not really playing devil's advocate, but I'm aware of a situation of 2 friends of mine who are gay, and they went to New York to marry. Since that time, they had a child, biologically the child of one of the women, and unfortunately that union has split. Since it's not recognized in Virginia, they cannot get a divorce in Virginia. They can't get a divorce in New York because they have to live in New York for 6 months before they can get a divorce. So they're forced to legally stay married. Now they've moved on to other partners, but they're legally still married to each other. So I think that brings on its own ethical concerns. And now my feelings are for the child who, in our community, in our country, where it's not widely accepted yet, this child who once had 2 mommies now has 4 mommies. And as much as we would like to see everyone say, oh, that's fine, not everyone says, oh, that's fine. And I worry about how that child's going to be picked on at school and other things. So those are my concerns in the area. Not saying that I'm against it by any means, but because we haven't all accepted it wholeheartedly, those are the problems that we're creating, and we haven't fixed them yet. And I would love to have any comments from the folks that maybe know how we can fix it.
I don't know how we can fix it, but I wonder how it differs from the natural parents who divorce, and now suddenly there's 2 mommies and 2 daddies. There's no difference other than the divorce is a legal option for heterosexual couples. And 4 mommies, 4 daddies, 2 daddies, 2 mommies. There needs to be legal protections for everyone. It does not matter who you love.
Well, it depends on the age of the children too. At a certain age, they don't care. And their parents, as long as the parents don't know about it, it doesn't come up and they're not picked on. It's only when they hit a certain age. Our daughter, who's straight, actually was hurt because of us. Because we weren't Christian, is what her parents said to us all the time. So it's the parents.
Right.
It isn't the children.
Right.
So as long as if these kids could grow up in the same community and it starts at a young age, then the kids aren't going to care.
younger parents. And, I mean, there are still younger people that don't agree with it, but there are fewer and fewer.
Do you think that was indicated by the slides that Peter had for the numbers?
Yeah. But you know what we've found, it's not, it's multi-generational. I mean, here at church, you know, it's an older congregation, and Tina and I have been incredibly welcomed. You know, so it's multi-generational, it's grown through understanding and education. And I guess the youth of today, the youth is going to build us through. The youth is going to take us through the other side.
Is that everyone for that question? Should they be able to file their taxes as a couple?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, now.
We filed federally, which was strange for me, having never been married before. What? I can't file? Yeah. But we had to do a dummy federal return as single to file our state.
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they file federal taxes.
Virginia put out a thing on it, instructions on it. Number 13 or something. Yeah, they actually did. Tax bulletin. Yes. All the tax, H&R Block, everybody, they all knew, they're all taking advantage of it. Some of them are going to make extra money. We'll separate all your information for you if you give us $30. For us, that's, for couples that have a lot of investments, they're going to pay that $30. So yes.
should they be able to establish a civil union?
Nobody said no. Many of them.
Unfortunately, a civil union at this point in time does not offer the same legal protections.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And in England, where civil unions have been legalized for, I think, about 5 years, now they are allowing legal marriage. So civil unions are, they're all fine and good, also called domestic partnerships, but they don't offer the same tax advantages. So it's kind of like saying, well, we'll sort of recognize you, but we're not going to give you any rights.
My issue with part of where this whole thing with civil union is when we're talking marriage, a lot of people are conflating of the religious concept of marriage and the civil concept of marriage. When I marry a couple, I'm functioning in two worlds. I, first of all, am an agent of the state. There's a copy of my ordination certificate at the courthouse in Virginia Beach, and I'm the one who signs the marriage certificate. That is a legal document that is strictly civil. In fact, in Massachusetts, a lot of the priests, until same-gender marriage was allowed, a lot of the priests refused to do that portion. And would only do a blessing, and they'd have someone come in as the justice of the peace. Because they could not condone, but basically the attitude of most of my colleagues there was, if I can't sign that document for a same-gender couple, I'm also going to refuse to do it for a heterosexual couple. Somebody else do it, and I'll do the part that we're really called to, which is to bring God's blessing onto that union. And there's a real big distinction, and the legal rights are mostly focused on the civil aspect. The religious part, that's a whole other discussion, of which I have no problem presiding over a same-gender wedding. I would do it without any hesitation.
Amelia?
I don't know if this is the norm, but I know you can go to the Justice of the Peace, have a civil marriage, and then get it blessed. There's a blessing of a civil
Marriage, yes.
in the prayer book.
Right.
So that doesn't seem like the norm, but it seems like kind of a good idea to just kind of keep the church out of it when you're just talking about civil
I
stuff.
prefer it.